What is happening, guys? Martin Martinez back again. This is a quick video for you because it's been a hot minute. But everyone seems to be commenting on a video that I put up probably like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, about don't go broke, about fragrances. I mean, ultimately that's what the channel was originally, and obviously the channel's not really being used now, but I don't mind dropping it from time to time. I mean, ultimately my position on fragrances is still pretty much the same. One thing you got to bear in mind is that over time your needs and your desires and your wants will change as you as life happens, as you experience different things along the way. And I would say ultimately that I'm at a point now where realistically, guys, I don't actually go out my way to buy fragrances. I don't really buy fragrances anymore. There are about 3 key fragrances I'll probably just get because I enjoy the fragrance. I don't mind having it with me, and I enjoy having something as a point of reference that I can go to know that's something I personally look forward to seeing, smelling, whatever else it may be. But ultimately at the end of the day, you got to bear in mind that the key thing about these fragrances is that realistically you are buying more into the marketing rather than the actual fragrance itself. A lot of these fragrance houses will produce the flankers just to generate more cash. They know obviously Dior Sauvage is quite an old fragrance now. I don't even know if the community talks about it anymore really in any depth. But Dior Sauvage is a fragrance that, again, got its notoriety in the time when blue fragrances were out. Again, Bleu de Chanel. What else was going on at the time? I mean, it's one of those things that things pass, things come and go. The fragrances will be there, the companies will be there, but your money may not be. And if you want to go and put your money into a marketing campaign, effectively that's what you're doing. A lot of these companies spend a lot more on marketing than it actually does cost to produce the fragrance. Yes, they may get some key people in, but a lot of the times, if you smell Creed Aventus from back in the day, that was a different time. You smell it now, it's completely gone. It's been watered down, it's not the same. It will never be something that I would purchase to spend £200 on a fragrance at this point in time in my life, because I just don't feel, even if I could afford it, I purposely choose not to spend my money on something like that. So for me, that £200 would be something that's more accustomed to used for purposes of travel, something that I'd probably use again on a trip or a journey somewhere, in addition to maybe I've got a fragrance that I've used for some time. So for me personally, as I say, buying fragrances, yes, there's an element that you need to become aware of where it becomes between a healthy hobby and that of an obsession. And again, realistically, in my opinion, you don't really need you don't really need a fragrance. Nobody really cares. When you're dating someone, they may know you buy a particular scent. There's no real need to change it unless that person's got an issue with the fragrance. You can talk with them about that. Okay, maybe purchase another one, or let them contribute to that one. Let them buy you one that they like. Fragrance is quite a personal thing, so over time, as I say, your sense of smell may change. What you're trying to project may change. I probably, when I was a bit younger, more learning about fragrances and so forth, I went more for a focus of loud fragrances, probably more like club banger fragrances, something along those lines. Whereas now, Mont Blanc Explorer, for me, I've mentioned in previous videos, that's more than enough. It's got Ambroxan in there, and it's got the sort of clean cut fragrance smell that I like. Bleu de Chanel being another one. You could say that's relatively generic, but that's what works for me. All the things like Parfums de Marly and getting into different things about the niche fragrances, Francis Kurkdjian, stuff like that. At one point, yes, I've purchased those. I've purchased, is it Pegasus? I've purchased a few of them. I can't remember the names off the top of my head anymore. Layton. I purchased all those type of fragrances, and it's like nearly what, £200 a pop, give or take. With inflation over time, it might be more, but ultimately, you know, I'm not going out of my way at this point in time to buy fragrance that's costing over £100. There's just no need for it anymore. You know, you could be a millionaire so many times over, but realistically, even then, I really doubt they're killing themselves to go and buy a new fragrance. There might be something that catches their eye, there might be something that they want to smell, but all the fragrances that are sort of niche level type of fragrances, you got to bear in mind realistically, what are you actually purchasing? Are you purchasing the aspirations of having something that costs a certain amount and what's associated with that? It's no different from market. I mean, look at me, I'm wearing this. This is technically just marketing. This symbol here is just marketing. That's all it is. A polo is still a polo shirt. It's not going to cost them more than £5 realistically to produce, but it's the marketing that you're purchasing and buying into. I say you could go to other parts of the world where what you're wearing, no one really cares, because let's say you go to Dubai, people can own that so many times over. Or let's say you go to a part of the world where that fragrance, that mark or whatever it may be, is not even realized, not even connected, not even been connected to people who live there. I went to Cuba And in Cuba, I remember I was wearing a Ralph Lauren polo, and one person asked me about, you know, they have any clothes or anything like this, but they want marked. This is also crazy, is they want marked clothes, they want name brand clothes. And when I did show them polo, he said he didn't even know what it was, and that's exactly it. You're purchasing the marketing. So don't go broke buying fragrances. Don't go broke wasting your time on excessive material items. And I'm at a point, as I say, where even me, I've gone through it. I've used money to buy these things, and if you think about how many thousands you'll spend over years purchasing these external things, these objects, and in the end, you know, you buy clothes, they wear away. What do you do with them? You give them to charity, you try and sell them off. You know, you can buy fragrances, which we're aware of and we talked about, and again, after a while, I've still got, like, I don't know how many fragrances still there, still selling them off. But ultimately, you know, when it's getting to excess of like 80 bottles of fragrances, whether they're cheap, even if they're cheap Zara fragrances, that does not realistically, in my opinion, you'll never get any true peace from these things. That's ultimately the only thing I can describe it as. And you'll be spending your money chasing this illustrious thing, this object, this scent, which smell, which in a way only exists in your mind to some extent. You know, just quite there. This fragrance is good, but it's just not quite there. If you really feel that way about it, realistically, you should look into making your own fragrance. And a lot of you will not do that because, again, you don't believe your own marketing, you don't believe your own hype. You know, if you're really into fragrances, you should get to a point that you're making your own fragrances, if that's your forte, if that's what you really enjoy. A lot of these YouTube guys, some of them have gone on to make their own fragrance, but a lot of them haven't. And they've got the money to do so, but they don't, because they know that it's easier to believe in somebody else's product, push that. The companies don't know the work, Chanel's don't know the work. Let's push this, let's bash it, and let's give it to the people and tell the people to buy it or to not buy it. And even then, they'll tell you to buy it because they're probably sponsored to do it. And then on top of that, you get the fragrances, you're not happy. So many times I used to listen to Jeremy Fragrance, I listened to Brooklyn Fragrance Lover as well, all those different people along the way. You know, and again, not knocking their opinion, but there's times I was literally Friday night, wow, I was smelling this fragrance, so I listened to a YouTube video, I looked on that, I thought, you know what, let me go and get this on Saturday, go to get it, have the fragrance, pretty much blind bought it as well, took it to the club, and I was not particularly happy. So all I'm going to say is, ultimately, try and spend your money, or get to a point where, how could I say, I can't tell you what to do. Obviously, you know what's best for you, but you'll get to a natural point where you think, that's it, I don't need these things anymore. And once you're happy with that, you will find some inner peace, and you'll walk in a bit more of a sense of freedom. You may have some fragrances, but there's no need to go and purchase the latest thing. When I go to Selfridges and see things going for 130 odd pounds, that doesn't mean anything to me. I can smell it, I'm happy to smell it, that might even smell nice. If I get some voucher or something like that, maybe at that point I'll go and buy it. But even if I can afford it, I will choose purposely not to spend my money on these things because I don't think it's necessary. Again, fragrances are just, you know, buy. Someone smells it, gets a whiff, that smells nice, and keeps going. There's fragrances I've had that cost me £50, and I've had more compliments than one that cost £200. So just bear that in mind. Leave your comments down below, guys. Let's see if we do another video. Who knows? Anyway, peace.